By request, here's some help with Brisa Lite Sculpting Gel. I'm going to start off with the base coat. The nail has been prepped, so you would do cuticle work, shaping, and scrub fresh. Remember, with Brisa Lite, you do not have to remove the shine. Then we're going to come in and apply the Brisa Lite base coat just to the natural nail. It does not need to be brought out onto the form. You can also use tips with Brisa Lite. Make sure you're getting a nice thin coat of the base coat, and it will cure for 10 seconds. While that's curing, I'm going to get ready with the white. We're going to use the white sculpting gel to create a tip. You can use the gel oval or the gel square, whichever your preference is. You can see the more oval shape of one and then the stricter square shape of the other. We're going to scoop up a little bit of the Brisa Lite white sculpting gel and create a string. Then use your string to draw a smile line. This is going to give you a template to make it easier to place the rest of your white. Once you've drawn the smile line, you can come in and actually apply the product. So I'm going to set my bead down. Then I'm going to press in a slightly pulsing motion with my brush angled back to move the gel over. Make sure you're turning to the side when you get really close to the side so that it will start to taper towards the side. Then I'm going to press in that same slightly pulsing motion over to the other side. Turning as I'm going over to the side so that I can push it up in and it will taper. Then I'm going to come across and smooth. Then I'm just going to use a little bit of alcohol to clean up the excess on the edges and start creating my shape. I've just cleaned the brush off with some alcohol, and I'm going to come in and perfect my sides and my shape. This will help make for less filing. Then I'm going to make sure that I have some gel all the way up the brush, just a very small amount. I'm going to take a little bit of cool blue and put it on my form backing. You could put it in a dappen dish, on your tile, whatever works the easiest for you. I'm going to take the side of the brush that's covered in the gel and press it into the cool blue. Then I'm going to press it on the paper so that it removes some of the excess cool blue. Then you can come onto the nail and using a slightly pressing motion as if you were working with liquid and powder, you can perfect zone 1 with that cool blue. The cool blue will evaporate, so it will not affect the gel, but it gives you the ability to really press and guide that into place and get it the way you want it, just like you would have if you were doing liquid and powder. And then I can come in and perfect my shape the same way I would with the brush if I were doing liquid and powder. Then I'll just use my alcohol to clean up any excess. And I would lock the white into place for 10 seconds. Oh wait, sorry, I forgot. before I lock it into place, I probably want to fix my smile line. So I'm just going to come in with the brush barely damp with alcohol and perfect the smile line. Since you could really press and guide the white, you shouldn't have a lot of perfecting that you need to do. It's just kind of a quick touch-up. Much better. You can see the space that we have to tuck the pink up against, and because we had the brush angled back, how you get the white kind of ramping down. So we're going to come in and place the pink. I've loaded the pink onto one side of my brush to make it easier to set it down and roll it off. Then I'm going to come in and using a really gentle pulsing motion, spread the pink into zones 2 and 3. Make sure that you move your brush so that it continues to be parallel with the shape you want the finished nail to be. This will help reduce finish filing. Also, make really sure you're staying in contact with the gel. Notice that even though my brush is making that slightly pulsing motion and I'm kind of going back and forth, that it's not picking up out of the gel completely. It's really staying in touch with that gel. I'm going to make sure that I kind of bring it down up against that white. I don't want to bring it over the white because remember the white doesn't have a full 2-minute cure, it's just locked into place. Something that can make working up against the white a little easier is to flip your brush around and come in and press and do your pulses with the brush flipped around and work everything into place. And it will self-level, so if you can pretty much get it about where it should be, it will smooth out if you let it. The trick is to learn to let it and not try to be overbearing when it comes to working with it. Once we have that smoothed into place, we're going to cure all of it together for 2 minutes. If you have any, like here I've got just a little smidge of the pink coming down on the white, you can wipe that off just the way you cleaned up the smile line in reverse. We're going to cure that for 2 minutes and then we're going to color the tip. If you're looking over the nail before you cure, especially down in these sides, it's really easy to find that you've left a small spot. You can create a tiny string with the pink, and when you come in and just lay that string down, it fills those holes in really nicely. Just let it self-level into place and then cure that for your 2 minutes. We're going to remove the top film with 99% pure isopropyl alcohol. Then remove the form. And we're going to do the finish filing. The finish filing is on a video from CND, so I'm going to go ahead and skip into applying the colored tip. Now I'm going to create a color so that we can do a colored tip. I'm going to use clear sculpting gel as the base. Keep in mind, anytime you add something to the gel, you do not want to add more than 30% of the amount of gel that you have. I'm going to use my small spatula. And since I'm just doing for one nail, I'm only going to use 2 parts clear. And I'm eyeballing them to about a pearl size. Then I'm going to come in with additive. I'm just going to use the scoop side of the spatula so that I can get a very teeny tiny portion of additive. And I'm actually going to use a smaller portion of red than of yellow, because the red's going to be really intense. And it's much easier to add than it would be to try and take away. Once I have those on here, I'm going to mix them in together, really using the spatula to smash the additive into the gel. And as you can see, we're getting a nice orange. I did the tip in white so that I could use clear to achieve the color, and then color it with a thin layer. And there's our orange. Once we have the color mixed, we're going to come in and apply it to the tip. And I'm kind of brushing it on like a polish. If you wanted it to be darker, you could sculpt it on just a little bit. And I've got the white sculpting underneath, so that's giving me a foundation so that my orange is really bright. The nail is finish filed, and I've removed the dust with alcohol. And then I'm just brushing on my colored gel, nice and thin, so that I don't have to go back in and sculpt any more pink. If you wanted it to do it thicker to get a darker color, you could. Zoom in just a smidge. See how we've got our nice light color. And if you wanted to do like swipe across with some alcohol at the smile line, you could reveal the white, and then you would have your white line with your orange tip and have kind of an accent detail. We're going to cure that for 2 minutes. Once we've cured the color, I'm going to come in with the Brisa Lite top coat. And again, nice thin layer, so I'm making sure to wipe the excess off the wand. I don't have a lot of excess on the brush. Make sure you seal all the edges of your enhancement. So I'm going back into the back, down along the sides, across the edge, and getting nice, thin, even coverage. So I'll have that gorgeous 3-week shine. And we're going to cure that for 2 minutes.
I didn't realize it was that.
When you're done with your 2-minute cure, we're just going to take some alcohol and remove the top film. And once you've got rid of that top film, we'll just come in with some solar oil. Give it a nice massage in. And they're good to go. When they come back in, you can just rebalance. And since we've just applied the color over the top of the white, it will be really easy to switch the colors. Have fun.